Well, another week here with the Tacos and Tech podcast and my co-host of This Week in San Diego Tech News, Fred Grier. Hey, Fred, how you doing?
Hey Neil, glad to be back. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. We are deep in the holiday party thicket of the end of the year. Fun seeing everyone to celebrate and toast quite a year. I don't think we're ready to do our whole year in review yet, but we've got some good stuff coming up for you, just end of year stuff. I know you've already been dripping out some good statistics on M&A, which we'll dive into here in a second.
Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech. You know we got tacos and tech is on smash. For the green guacamole. Keep accountants counting beans. Contador cuentan frijoles. Founders trying to raise some queso. La vida San Diego. School of rapping fire. Tortillas round jalapenos. In these modern times of craft beer and coffee. My coding yoga posse. Fold the body. Surfing Coronado, eating tacos El Gordo. The taco stand in Puesto, lucha libre and sombrero. Gotta shout out Tecos Angels by the ocean, watch the sunset. La Jolla Shores, entrepreneurs trying to get funded. When San Diego Startup Week is popping in the summer. Oceanside to Tijuana, SD be full of hustlers. From couch surfing to penthouses right on the beach. Tech leaders who believe stars are within reach. We interviewing founders who be shooting for the moon. Hashtag SD Techos with your host, Neal Bloom. Come on! Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech. You know we got it, hey! Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech. You know we got it, hey!
But just a quick overview of the podcast and who we are. I'm Neal Bloom, run Fresh Brew Tech and Tacos and Tech podcast, and Interlock Capital, a local investment capital firm. And this is Fred.
And I'm Fred Grier, longtime business journalist here in San Diego. I work with a number of startups and VC firms helping tell their stories.
And a number of good stories were told last week at Techstars San Diego, powered by San Diego State Demo Day. I went to Demo Night, which is always a super fun event, especially after you've gotten to know the companies over a 3-month cohort. And so this is year 2 of the Techstars cohort. 12 companies have been physically embedded on the San Diego State campus. They started in September, and this was really a chance for them to come out to the community and say, here's what we've been up to, and here's what we're doing, and here's where we're going. And it was a packed house. There was, I would say, 400 or 500 easily at Snapdragon Stadium, and standing room only. Like, there were no chairs available. There's probably 100 of us just standing, which is a great sign. And they always, it's a show. I will say that for sure. Like, you come to watch to be entertained, in a sense. Like, these are well practiced and polished pitches. And every team has 10 minutes though, which still, you have to, maintain audience attention for 10 minutes at a time, and then another 10 minutes, another 10 minutes through 12 of these. So kudos to all 12 companies, because they did really, really well. People were definitely buzzing afterwards, running up to the teams to talk to them each at different tables. And I'm really excited to see who gets funded after that. That's just pretty much what happens after Demo Day. Companies say, hey, here's what we did for 3 months. So now we're going to go do that for the next year. We're raising, and, hopefully they'll close funding sometime in Q1. So we'll report back on how the cohort did there. I would go and find the list, and I think the recordings will actually be live for anyone to watch before the end of the year, said the Techstars team. So congratulations, team. I know they're going to reopen applications. I think they'll be due by May. So applications might be open by like February, March timeframe for the next cohort for next fall. So excited to see all that for sure. A great article by the Union Tribune came out looking at year over year GDP, or gross domestic product, of the San Diego County region. And it had some show-stopping numbers, which was pretty cool. It pretty much compared San Diego as a county compared to other countries in the world and other states, which was pretty astounding. At $261 billion GDP, by the way, in a state of California, which is the fifth largest economy in the world, and San Diego being one of the largest economies also as a county in the world as well too. Did you pull some numbers from this, Fred?
You know, like San Diego is number three in life sciences, which drives a lot of economic impact, as well as defense industry and hospitality. So I'm by no surprise, but this is huge news.
Yeah, huge news. The data they compared to, so when we had a 1.4% GDP rise compared to the year before, bigger than half that, and our GDP itself is bigger than half the states in the United States. So just the GDP of San Diego County is larger than half the states in the country, which is pretty massive. They talk about, including also bigger than the country of Greece, bigger than the country of Hungary, Morocco, and Ecuador. So we are a wrecking ball here in terms of, what we produce. It's the fifth largest county in America. But I think we were, for GDP wise, what did it say? We are in the top 10 for GDP itself. So still pretty good for terms of what we're contributing towards. And that really, I think, is what we talk about all the time, of where that money is coming from, significantly from innovation. So biotech and military, and then a lot of services. There's a lot of significant large service sector GDP kind of jobs and revenue generated in this county. It's being so big, bigger than 3 million in that regard. So anyway, we'll put the link to the Union Tribune article here. Just not much more to take from it, except that, the eyes are on us, and we've got a lot of opportunity, and we can keep growing from here. It's just ours for the taking, for sure. You had a great tweet really highlighting the whole year of M&A in biotech. I'd love to kind of turn it over to you to walk us through a little bit of that, because we've been talking a lot about biotech fundings and M&A. We also talked about a lot of the layoffs as well too. So there's a whole biotech story to be told here, but take us through kind of the M&A piece that you've been tracking.
Yeah, so this piece really, kicked off because of our conversation last week. We kind of seen from looking at the data that there seems to be a pickup of M&A activity. When I looked at the numbers, I was really surprised that San Diego biotech M&A surpassed about 15 billion this year alone. So some of the top three acquisitions: Razy Bio was acquired by Bristol Myers for 4.1 billion. That was the largest. Longboard Pharmaceuticals last month was acquired for 2.6 billion, and we had Inhibrx Biosciences also acquired by 2.2 billion. This is not including probably six others: Embryx, Neuro, Poseida, Kate Therapeutics. The list goes on. Basically, the takeaway from this headline was, despite the volatile fundraising environment in 2023 and also this year across the board, we're seeing big pharma acquire and expand presence in San Diego, and this follows Boston and San Francisco. And a few people reached out to me after seeing my post and kind of mentioned, "Hey, is M&A a good thing? Is this kind of a bad thing?" Because M&A is kind of taking away companies that were historically, growing. And my feedback or my 2 cents was, M&A is a good thing because it's generating wealth for not only founders but also some of the early employees, and then those founders and early employees go on to start their next thing, and then some of that emerging talent tends to stay in San Diego and join another company. And so it's that flywheel effect in our ecosystem, which ultimately pushes it forward. And that's kind of my takeaway from the data. It depends how you slice it, but I think it's really huge to see that it's in the biotech community. I'd love to start seeing that for tech, but it just really speaks to the maturity of our life sciences scene locally.
Yeah, you had a great takeaway. I'm really glad you posted your takeaway publicly on X around that, because it was really concise. I think a few other things to think about. One, these biotech companies, when they get acquired, they're actually still really small. Like, they're sometimes under 100 people when they're getting acquired for $1 billion. We're not talking about thousands of jobs per se that may, quote unquote, go away. And even that is uncertain, I would say, in an M&A scenario. So often the people are just as much the IP as what they've been developing too. But like you mentioned, with a financial windfall, people have the ability to and the freedom to go create new startups, and they're going to do that in San Diego. Like there's we know that we're not losing the founder class and the innovation class here talent wise, because it's just a great spot to be. So all good things, I would say, from an M&A front. That means the capital's recycling. The one thing we can continue to do better is put local money into those deals so that when the M&A big investments go in, they come back and flow back into San Diego as well too. I've looked at a number of deals over the last year where people are tracking numbers like 5 billion in VC dollars invested into San Diego companies, and like 5% of it is local money. So when those companies exit, and let's say usually what happens is the founders are down to 20% or 10% equity, which means the rest of the company is owned by investors, which means a big windfall. 90% of the windfall, the capital, is going to flow back out of the market, back out to the investors, which great for them, because we don't have the local investment scene capitalized yet to go do it. That just is an opportunity for us to put more money into good companies that we see in our backyard. So all good things. We'll keep reporting, and we'll keep all riding that wave. Speaking of, we've got some great fundings, very recent fundings, like hot off the press, to friend Peter, CEO of Surglogs here. I think this article came out like 20 minutes before we recorded this, that they raised a new round of funding. Fred, I think you said you wrote the original article when they raised their first round of funding here for Surglogs, which is a like vertical SaaS or SaaS platform to kind of manage surgical centers, right?
That's correct. Yeah, I was happy to see the news when it broke this morning. They're a Coronado-based company focused on kind of the health tech space. And yeah, this funding that they raised are going to allow them to continue to grow, grow their team. The Business Journal had a great piece, so we'll go ahead and link that. But basically, it's a 10.5 million. Actually, no, they raised a 10.5 million Series A in 2021. So now this is a Series B funding that just closed this morning.
Yeah, congrats to Peter Sajak, who I've known since before he started this. He and his dad have been LPs in a number of funds in town, including they are LPs in Social Leverage Fund, and they've made a bunch of direct investments prior into a lot of local tech companies. And his family is actually the founding family of ESET, cybersecurity company here in town. So deep roots in the local tech scene. And I remember when Peter started this, I would say, quote unquote, his garage in Coronado. It was fun to see. And then they moved over to Symphony Towers, and I think they're now back in Coronado here. Great VCs on the cap table too, including 8VC, Open Ocean VC, and Credo Ventures, who've continued to power this. And good to see, a SaaS company, but their customer base is healthcare, which I would say is two strong suits here in San Diego, to be able to build a technology company and be right there alongside your customer and get to know the customer so well as well too. So congrats to the Surglogs teams on your continued growth here. An earlier stage investment was just announced for Coach IQ. They just raised $1.3 million pre-seed round. What do you know about this team here, Fred?
Yeah, so I'm actually meeting with the founding team today, so I'll have some more details on our next pod. However, this is a created company by UCS alums. They're in North County, and it's on creating technology that helps sports teams, like high school, I think universities maybe, with their coaching business, and all in one platform. I need to get more details on exactly what they do, but I think the takeaway here is tech funding and is definitely picking up, from the Surglogs to Coach IQ. There wasn't as many headlines in the single week of tech fundings that are happening, and I'm seeing that happen more at that pre-seed seed level than I have seen earlier this year. So it's a great trend that I'm seeing. I don't know, you have a takeaway there, but yeah, it's great to see that tech funding is slowly starting to pick up.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say most of the Q1, 2, 3, I probably did more hardware investments, and Q4 we have done 3 software investments. And so that's one trait. And then earlier stage as well too. We are seeing a bunch more who have funded in Q4 who haven't announced yet as well too. So either they'll get that out before the end of the year, or they'll come out in January and do it. Or maybe people are just done announcing funding and they're just raise the funds and get back to work and keep their heads down. That's okay too, right? Just because you raise doesn't mean you need to go tell the world about it. I understand if it is a distraction, because usually with big funding comes a lot of like inbound for blank, with a lot of service provider inbound, and a lot of other investor inbound saying, we missed out. Let it put us on your next round list as well too. So lots of reasons to promote. And if you'd like to share your recent funding, let me or Fred know. We'd be happy to promote it here for sure. We're kind of celebrating everyone who's doing well here. Last story on the funding side is a long-time tech company here, Neuron, who, let's say maybe it's more rumor mill on doing a new round of funding, but what did you pick up here on how Neuron's doing, Fred?
Yeah, so this software company is Taiwanese. They are creating AI chips, and yeah, they have a pretty big presence in San Diego. I think they had about 30 employees, which is not a huge presence, but for AI chip making, they're probably one of the few players in the space. Yeah, Bloomberg caught wind of this in October. This is not official, but there's a rumor that they're in process of raising about 300 million in the latest funding round, which would value the company at about 1 billion. So with this new funding, they probably will be scaling up not only their local office, but also probably some R&D. Also, Bloomberg went into details about them opening that R&D lab in Saudi Arabia. So it's interesting. Yeah, something we're going to keep an eye of. AI is obviously top of mind in 2024, and I think it will continue to be a trend in next year. And yeah, seeing a lot more money, a lot more companies are being able to raise hundreds of millions of funding in the AI space because investor appetite is there, and even crypto is picking up a little bit too.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to bring up these scoops and insights as we get more details.
I will say, Neuron, I'm pretty sure I've always called them a San Diego company. I've always thought they've been headquartered here. So I'm be interested to see where they really are based if you say they're Taiwanese based, but I've always known them as HQ over in UTC area. I think they're on that same row over by like where Apple is and now Lytics and those others as well too. Interesting companies who were in there prior round, like Qualcomm Ventures, Sequoia Capital, Foxconn, the big chip manufacturer for Apple in China. So we'll be interested to see if this Series B is coming together, or this next stage looks like it would be a Series C round coming together on kind of future chip technology. But yeah, we'll keep you posted. Like we mentioned, a lot of holiday parties happen right now. For the full list of events happening through the end of the year, go to the Social Coyote. I believe I will finally attend my first North County Tech Mixer next week on the 17th. First round of drinks are on me. I think I've already signed up to sponsor it. And look forward to seeing you all there. We'll link that event there in the show notes. And then early 2025, CES is happening, and a bunch of us from San Diego are coming out, and we'll have kind of a San Diego showcase alongside CComp, which is a San Diego, North County based hardware design and manufacturing firm. So if you were coming out to CES, write us a note and let's all gather together there, which would be great to see. And then JP Morgan Bio happens and TechCon SoCal. So it'll be a busy January. It's always busy. We talk about ebbs and flows of busy. Let's just get over it. It's just always busy. And if you're looking to get connected and networked, follow me and Fred. And we're sharing those news. Fred's Substack, The Business of San Diego, and my Substack, Fresh Brewed Tech. So I'm sure we'll put out another pod before end of year, maybe do another full end of year funding, like number by the numbers. But thanks for tuning in this week, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks, Fred.
Always a pleasure, Neal. See you next time.
Likewise. Cheers.
Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech. You know we got tacos and tech is on smash. For the green, guacamole. Keep accountants counting beans. Contador cuentan frijoles. Founders trying to raise some queso. La vida San Diego, school of rappy, rapping fire. Tortillas round jalapenos. In these modern times of craft beer and coffee, my coding yoga posse, fold the body, origami. We be surfing Coronado, eating tacos El Gordo. Sunset, La Jolla Shores, entrepreneurs trying to get funded. When San Diego Startup Week is popping in the summer, Oceanside to Tijuana, SD be full of hustlers. From couch surfing to penthouses right on the beach. Tech leaders who believe stars are within reach. We interviewing founders who be shooting for the moon. Hashtag SD Techos with your host, Neal Bloom. Come on! Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech, you know we got it, hey! Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups